Hello everyone, so before I jump into my vlog, I just want to say huge thank you to everyone who sent me an email regarding my mentorship program. I'm extremely excited because I've received so many emails. I didn't expect that, and that makes me extremely happy, and I'm so proud that I'm able to do something to help some of you guys to take your headshot photography to another level. And I can promise you I'll do all my best to take your photography skills to another level where you guys are going to be proud of what you guys are doing and you guys are going to be happy with your results. So what I want to say also that I'm trying to respond to all those emails as quick as possible. So whenever you send me an email, you should receive email back within 12 hours. If you didn't, that means that my email either went to spam or there is something going on. I have sent with those emails PDF files, so that's a little bit bigger sized email. So sometimes they might get filtered and then might ended up in the spam. So if you didn't receive an email, please contact me through other social media platforms, so we'll figure out how I can kind of send to you those stuff different way. But most of the times those emails work, and if you have any questions, again, please feel free to contact me through email or social media, or even you guys can give me a call if you guys need to. I will be more than happy to chat with you guys and follow up with everything what I do. So I will be, again, I'm still working on the details, so I will be sending you another emails with more informations and in the stuff which how this whole thing's gonna even work and how we're gonna communicate and how we're gonna kind of make this whole thing happen. So again, stay tuned, and thank you again so much for contacting me about this project, because that's really I'm really excited and I'm really looking forward to it. So so today's vlog, I want to talk about social media, and I'm sure, and probably you guys heard that a million times, but I've decided to do separate vlog about it and then talk about it a little bit more into details, because you know, being headshot photographer nowadays, you can't live without social media. Like, you have to be part of it. You have to somehow incorporate your work into those platforms to get the audience to communicate with people, but there's some issues, and this is actually something which really hit me recently, and I would like to share with you guys a little bit of story. I took my son to Treehouse, and this is like a little playground for kids where, you know, there is indoor, especially in Calgary, where we have nasty winter this year. So this is one of those places which I really like to spend with my son. And you know, the other day we went there together. It was around 6 o'clock. There was a lot of kids, a lot of parents, completely chaos. But the one thing what I've noticed and really shocked me, and that's actually what decided me to even do this vlog, that most of the parents, I have to say 90% people, they were on the phones. They're checking, I don't know what, social media, they're checking emails, they were just basically glued to their phones. Didn't pay attention much to their kids. Kids were kind of like playing on their own, and I see like a huge group of people just completely disconnected with that place. And I was just watching this for quite a while, also trying to kind of interact with my son, but that just really make me sad that, you know, the social media can really, and internet and an addiction to the phones can really take over your lives. And that's why what I want to talk about it, because I've made some changes in my life which are extremely important to, you know, kind of be valuable, and then, you know, those do things which excites me, and don't literally waste time on things which, you know, you just scroll the screen and you know, there's nothing which comes out of it. And I've seen, you know, I see constantly people wherever I go that most of us you know, are completely connected, and we are completely glued, as I said, to the our phones, and we don't really know what's kind of going on around us. And I want to talk about it because I think being in this industry is important. It's extremely important to, you know, do something which make a difference and do things which have some kind of value, and also be happy with yourself. You don't want to be numbed down by the phone and, you know, things which are happening on social media. So let's talk about it into detail. So I separated this vlog into kind of two parts. The first thing I want to talk about is what is good social media for. What kind of benefits we are getting using the social media. So the first thing, of course, is you can promote yourself to huge audience. You know, there's tons of different platforms. There's tons of different places where you can actually take your work, you can take your ideas and share it with the world. And the audience that we can reach nowadays, it's extraordinary. So the other day, actually, I posted some image on one of the platforms which are created for photographers, and my image, which I also think wasn't the best image, reached about 50,000 people, which when I really think about it, it's something which just, you know, blew my mind, because a couple decades ago that wouldn't be even possible. Like that, you know, one image can be seen by so many people, and that's something which I think is huge benefit for our work, because, you know, if you do whatever and you're good at it, and you're trying to really push your ideas, your concept, your pictures, you can really reach huge audience, and you can reach a lot of people, and not only in the place where you live, but across the world, which is even more exciting, because, you know, you have no idea who's gonna see these pictures, and you know, like what can kind of come out of it, you know, like maybe some get inspired, and then someone can I don't know, just basically you have huge impact on the world by sharing your work. So another thing which I found was just amazing when it comes to social media, you can connect with your audience. You can connect with so many people all over the world. I think this is also extraordinary, that we're living in the times where you can basically talk to people all over the world, and there's no borders, there's no boundaries. I'm getting contacted by people from completely, and really, in my opinion, places which I would never expect. Like, you know, people from Japan, people from China, people from South America, like, you know, just everywhere. And, you know, that's amazing. That makes me so exciting that my work and then the stuff what I do can inspire people from so many different places. So that's something which I'm extremely happy, and I think this is amazing that we actually live in those times where we are able to be in touch with so many people. So the next thing what I want to talk about it, which social media, and this is one of my main points what I love social media, that we can learn our craft. And this doesn't matter what you do. It's photography, it's cooking, it's whatever you do in your life. You can learn so much from it, because we're living also in the world where, as I said before, people sharing their ideas, they sharing their concepts, they sharing their knowledge, and that's amazing. I deeply believe that I wouldn't be where I am right now without social media, because I've learned so much from it. And I'm still learning, and I still searching for things which can improve my craft, can improve my workflow, can improve a lot of things. So that's something which I extremely appreciated, that, you know, we have that connection, and we have, you know, place where we can go for the knowledge. You know, and schools, you know, and courses and workshops, those are also amazing places where you can kind of get you know, informations. But I also found that the social media and some of those places, you can reach them in the fingertips. Like they're there. Like you can even contact other people and ask for advice. So that's something which social media is extremely important. So now let's go into the bad stuff. So when the social media become a problem, and I think I don't want to say that I think that social media itself, it's not a problem. That's something what, you know, well, I don't want to say that, you know, because there's a lot of discussion nowadays where people saying that social media is bad for us. As I said, people are glued to the phones. I think the social media itself is not a bad thing. It's just how we consume the social media, how we interact with those platforms. And of course, those places, those platforms, they want you to be there. They want you to be addicted, because that's how our world works nowadays. Advertiser pays a lot of money to kind of grab your attention, so the social media platforms do everything what they can to make you hooked on it and to be part of it, and scroll through things and be there pretty much all the time. So when this whole thing becomes a problem, and I found that becomes a problem when you become addicted to it, and that's huge problem. Apparently, and this is from the scientific world, which says that whenever you actually see likes, when you see some new comments, when you actually get some new information, you're getting kind of like shots of dopamine, which makes you super happy. It's the same thing when you're in love, when you're drinking, when you're gambling, and this substance apparently is extremely addicted. And I'm not saying I'm a perfect person, because I'm also feel like I'm a little bit addicted to it, but I'm fighting with this, and I have the plan, and I have actually certain rules which I'm following to make sure that I can somehow be in control with my social media. So when the also problems become, so what I found that the first kind of like signal that you have issues is, and I was also again part of this, whenever you're actually checking your phone constantly, like every 10 and every 15 minutes, every 20 minutes, you go back to your phone and you're checking, did you get the message, did you get the likes? Those are the things which you can notice that like you don't even think about it, but you reach for the phone and you're checking the stuff out. And I used to be that way. Like I still have sometimes those issues, but I know right now that I have to be in control, and I do some other stuff which I'm going to be talking about later. But I also see all the time people just constantly keep checking their stuff. There is some kind of like drug in it, but like when you really think about it, it is. Your brain gets that dopamine, which kind of like they want more and more and more. So you have to just keep reaching back to kind of get another shot of this dopamine. Another thing what I realized when the social media become the problems, where you're getting really emotional about things like your image didn't get enough likes, or you get some negative comment and you're getting really emotional about it. That's something which is also extremely huge problem, that your emotions are driven by social media. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be emotional about some of those things, but when you're getting upset because your image get only certain amount of likes, and usually you get more, and you think about it and you're getting stressed out about it, and you're just blaming yourself, that's becoming a problem. Another thing what I also want to point it out, and this is the biggest one, social media become an addiction to the phone, become a problem when, let's say, you talk to someone and you're reaching for the phone. I see that all the time. There's two people talking and all of a sudden the phone beeps or whatever, and people just reach out and just completely ignore the other person. I see that all the time, even with my friends and even with some family members. I found this is extremely, I think it's not polite, but also is something which shouldn't be happening. I also have seen things where people talk to me and they've been spending time on social media, which is another kind of like, okay, are you with me, or are you just completely just kind of like, I'm just part of the conversation, or you don't really want to be spending time with me. So that's also kind of we getting to the point where we feel kind of emotionally neglected, that someone cares more about what is on their phone than the conversation we have. Another big issue what I found is, and that was also heavily involved in that kind of behavior, was that whenever you go to bed and you have your phone right beside you and you're checking your phone at night, or you're basically checking the phone with the first thing you're waking up. So that's another huge problem. Like you have to make sure that, and I will be talking about it, that like you really fight this behavior, because you become kind of like, I found, especially when I was checking my phone at night, you wakes up in the middle and you just need to check the phone. Like you just get this anxious behavior, which makes you like, you know, where's my phone? I have to check it. I want to see what's going on. And then, you know, you check it, there's nothing going on, and you went back to bed. And that's, I think it's a huge problem, and you have to somehow figure out how to actually, you know, somehow find a kind of like solution not to do that, because it's going to really affect your life. So now let's get into sharing with you guys my actually approach, how I deal with this you know, social media and phone addiction, and how I actually find some ways, and hopefully those things maybe help you out a little bit, and maybe some of those things you guys can implement into your daily life. I hope that's probably gonna help a little bit, because it helps me, and I've been trying to be really strict about it to make sure I'm not going to this kind of path that, you know, like the social media just completely takes over my life. So the first thing what I've decided to do is I actually just turn off all the notifications. So basically there's a couple of them only which I can keep on, and they kind of inform me that there's something going on. It's my phone, my email, and my text messages. Those are the three things which actually I have on, and whenever someone's trying to reach me, then, you know, the phone beeps or call or whatever. Anything else such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all those other platforms, everything is pretty much turned off all the time. And so whenever I need to check, I'll go and actually just look into those platforms to see what's going on there. Another thing what I've decided to do, because the way actually the social media works, and probably you will notice that they also play with a bunch of different colors to make you kind of like wanting to check your phone. So for example, Facebook, and I don't know what kind of phone you guys are using, but most of those notifications actually coming in the red color. So whenever you see a red color, like you're getting alert, and you're like, okay, there's one message or there's some notification from Facebook, you want to actually check it out. Also, what I've noticed recently, which is really drives me nuts, is even if you check your notifications, even on your computer, the red actually sign with some previous notification just kind of keeps popping up. And this is just kind of bizarre, because I know that what they've done is they're trying to kind of like keep checking what's going on. So this is something which you have to make sure you're not getting kind of bombarded and you're not getting kind of triggered by this. So what I've decided to do, I actually have my iPhone actually switch into a black and white color, so the gray tones. And actually you can go to the general settings where you can actually switch that. And also I found that really helps, because whenever even you look at your phone, you know, the grayish tones don't make you that kind of like your brain crazy, so you're not getting that kind of like, you know, tension to check your phone. So this is another thing. Another thing what I've done is I'm actually checking my social media on the certain time. So actually I'm just checking in the morning, checking in the evening, and trying to kind of like once or twice check during the day, but not kind of like checking all the time. So I have those specific times where I'm actually going on social media and do my things, and then posting and just sharing or replying to certain comments, whatever it has to be done. I want to make sure that I'm doing in this only certain times, so I'm not getting kind of like, you know, do that constantly, and whenever the message comes in or something like that, I have to respond right away. I'm giving myself a little bit of time. So another thing what I do whenever I go out with my friends, family, or I'm taking my kid, I'm always trying to have my phone out of reach, so it's not like, you know, in my hands or in my pocket, because I know this is gonna actually affect me. So that's something also which a lot of people have a lot of issues with. So let's say with my kid, whenever I go to, as I mentioned before, to the treehouse, what I do, I pretty much leave my phone into my car, just lock it in, so, you know, I'm not actually have my phone in the pocket, so I don't have to kind of like be constantly, okay, should I check it or should I do something about it? And the way to kind of make this work, I just text my wife or people who are trying to reach me and saying, look, you know what, I'm actually going to this place, I'm gonna be you know, out of my phone, so just don't freaking out that I'm not gonna respond right away. So that's also helps, and they know what's going on, and they don't bug me because they know if everything is fine. I don't need my phone on me. The same happens when I go with my friends or spending time with the family, or I'm actually visiting someone or going to a restaurant or whatever. The phone is somewhere where I don't have the kind of like straight access to it. And even if I'm going with my wife, we're taking one phone, so like we are in touch whenever a kid is kind of babysitter or something like that, so we have to have some kind of connection, but we don't need two phones to have that. So that's something which I'm trying to do, to kind of avoid this behavior that I need to reach for my phone all the time. The same thing, and this is what I was talking about, checking my phone at night. Around 10 o'clock I'm turning off my phone, just putting on the shelf, and I don't really have access. If I need to, I go on a computer, but the phone is pretty much turned off and it's actually out of my bed, and it's just staying in the office where I don't really have access to it. So even when I wake up in the middle of the night, and it was interesting for me that beginning was kind of tough because like you were still waking up and like, okay, where's my phone? And then like you try to force yourself, okay, I have to go back to bed and sleep, and don't go and look for the phone to check it out. So now it's becoming some kind of habit, so you want to make sure that you remove this kind of little thing from your behavior, and then your brain kind of knows now that you don't have to do that. And now I have way better sleeps at night because I'm not waking up to check my phone. And I actually have to learn that, which is kind of ironic and weird that you have to learn how to sleep without a phone. But that's the world we live in, right? So that's something which we have to kind of take control over and make sure we don't do that. Okay, so those are the little things which I'm trying to do to make sure I'm actually having a little bit more control over the social media. So the one thing that I would like to add, and I would like to talk about a little bit, what we should actually post and what we should actually what kind of informations we should I would say share on social media. Especially I found that people share nowadays everything, and that's I think because becomes a problem because there is a lot of garbage, there's a lot of crap out there, and sometimes when we go and we check our phone, we have to scroll a lot of things which are, as I said, garbage till we find something which is valuable. So the way I actually approach this, I'm not sharing too much my personal stuff. I don't share, once in a while I share pictures of my kid, but most of the time I'm trying to avoid this. I'm treating the social media strictly as a kind of business thing. So I share my images, my work. I also try to share things which have some valuable and meaningful things, and don't kind of like spend crazy amount of time sharing things which they're meaningless to other people. So that's something which the way I approach, and that's the way I actually try to work with. So I'm not wasting time of the food I'm having, or there's some other stupid things which doesn't do anything. Because when you think about it, and when you start adding that time where you actually post things which are just stupid or meaningless, or like they don't do anything to anybody, then the time adds up, and then you realize like, oh my god, like I've wasted so much time on things which really doesn't really matter. So my advice is basically share things which have not only value to you but also have some value to other people. And of course things which you want to share, you'd say your images, you want to share your ideas, you want to share your concept, like whatever you do, use that for social media. And I found that's extremely important to focus on that, and don't waste your time on things which doesn't do anything to anyone. So another thing what I want to talk about is don't argue on social media. That's something which is a death trap, and I found, and I've been there many times, trying to kind of prove my point, and that's something which you can't really win the debate or conversation on social media. And I found this whole thing escalates in such a quick way that you're not only wasting your time, because there's no way, as I said, you can fight and you can win the social media wars or discussions or arguments. You're just wasting your time, plus you're getting so emotional that it's going to affect your mood. It's going to affect not only your mood, but probably all your family, because also I've noticed back in the days when I was arguing on social media, I was just pissed at the world, being actually mean to my wife, tried to kind of like using that whole thing to kind of like this anger and this tension on people who didn't even deserve that. And I noticed that that's just crazy that some pointless and stupid arguments on social media can actually just turn your whole life upside down and affect so many people around you. So whenever you have the situation that you're getting into some conversation which that is going into the wrong direction, just make sure you stop there. And because it doesn't take much, as long as you get triggered and then your emotions are kind of flying high, there's no way to stop this. And it's like a literally snowball effect, which is going to take you to the place where you're going to be furious about someone who you probably might not even know that person, but you're going to spend hours and hours and hours, or even days sometimes, arguing things which sometimes, and most of the time, just don't matter at all. So try to avoid those things, because this is not usually it's just a simple waste of time. So the last thing that I would like to add to this, and this is something also strictly when it comes to the headshot photographers, try to work on platforms which they do something for you, and you get something out of this, because that's something which is, in my opinion, extremely important. You don't want to spend time on social media platforms where they don't do anything for you and your work and your images, whatever you do. So be selective and focus only on those ones which you'd benefit the most, because it's extremely important to make sure that whenever you are on social media and whenever you do out there, you actually value, there's going to be something valuable and something which is going to benefit you. So that's actually, I would like to end here, because I've been chatting for a long time and probably you guys are already sick of this hearing, but I think it's extremely important conversation to have. And I think we have to remind ourselves all the time that like we have to be careful what we do there on social media, because again, it might be, and this is actually going to be the title of this vlog, that social media might be your best friend or might be your worst enemy. So we have to make sure that we're gonna control this the best way as possible to take advantage of it, and make sure we're gonna benefit from it, and we're not gonna I don't know, a few years from now saying, oh my god, I was just spending so much time there doing absolutely nothing, or doing things which just don't matter to anything and anybody, and you pretty much waste your time. So I also was cutting myself quite often whenever I was just going on social media, and you start scrolling things down and you realize, like, what the hell I'm doing, like why I'm scrolling through like some stupid and worthless content which doesn't do anything. So that's, right now I'm trying to really think about it and then be sharp and focus on things that they're gonna be valuable for other people, and whatever I put out there, they're gonna give them something which they can use, or they can actually just help them, or there will be some information which can kind of, I don't know, do something positive for them. It's not going to be something, as I said, stupid, or something which it means absolutely nothing to anyone. And yes, that would be probably pretty much everything what I would like to share with you guys. I hope you guys liked it. This was a little bit long vlog, but I think it's important to talk about it. If you have some of those things or some of those things which you'd like to share with me, or you would like to add something to this, please feel free to put the comment down below. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm wishing you guys a fantastic weekend. Let's stay in touch, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye bye.